Hello, my name is Julio Anel and I'm a naturalist at Walter B. Jacobs Memorial Nature Park, which is one of Caddo Parish parks. Welcome to an Introduction to Acrylic Painting program. Today we're going to paint a tufted titmouse. This is the fourth and the last of a set of 4 songbirds that we started painting. The substrate is, as usual, 6x6 hard canvas. The paints that we're going to need are titanium white, permanent black, light blue, burnt umber, rose sienna, Payne's gray, and lily pad green. The brushes that we're going to use are number 10 filbert, 3.8 angular, a liner, and 1/4 of an inch flat brush. As usual, I draw a sketch. I draw my sketches like this. So here is the sketch for you. Again, imagine a clock on your 6x6 canvas. 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. And the bird's direction is, the direction of the bird is from 10 to a little bit after 3, like 5 minutes after 3. And here is the direct line, the red one. As you see where the circles are, this is the head. The head is 1 inch diameter. The body is 2 inches diameter. And the tail is 2 inches. If you look at the location of the circles where this red line is, the bigger part at the bottom, and here, bigger part on top. After this, I just wanted to show you how we're going to connect these circles. So like this. The beak is almost at the same line. The bottom of the beak is on the same line with your red line. And you're just going to make a smooth pass from the neck and the bottom of the tail. So from here to here when we paint. Okay, if you're ready, let's begin. So here I'm painting with very, very light blue, the background, kind of like sky blue, very, very light. Tufted titmouse is a gray bird. It's not blue, it's gray. As usual, I'm going to paint the sketch in white. First, I will try to stick with the proportions that I'm imagining now the position of the bird. It is almost straight, kind of. This is the tail, this is the body, and this is the head. So it's going to be like this. I'm painting my sketches, silhouettes in white. It's easier to correct if I have to make any changes. Now that silhouette is here, we can start doing the details. So I'm going to switch to a smaller brush. I start with very, very light colors. it says 10 here. It kind of looks like I'm using my filbert, a smaller filbert. Okay, the wing starts here. I'm going to put a little bit more white at the bottom here. So we can see the finishing lines of the body. I'm painting over the wing. I'm going to correct its position. And I'm blending in. I don't like this line here. It will slowly blend in. Let me use the liner to, I think I'm going to use the liner to start drawing the wing. I want to draw these lines for the wing so I can follow as I'm painting further. After this dries a little bit, I'm going to have to put some details there. Let's do the head. It has a tiny tuft. This is one of the 3 tufted ones. In fact, 4 tufted birds that we have in Louisiana or in our area. One of them is this tufted titmouse. The other one is blue jay and northern cardinal and cedar waxwing. Okay, I'm going to put a little line for the chin so I know where the head. Okay, the beak it has a very tiny beak. Be black at the end. I just want to draw the beak. It's a little bit longer. Since it's a tiny beak, I don't want to get carried away. There's a darker patch here, darker feathers. We're going to make them a little bit. And the eye. The grays come all the way here. It's like a circle. Okay, this is how we're going to arrange where the grays end. Looks like the top of the beak kind of continues like this. Take this as the level. And the eyes is right within the beak's curve and closer to the front, like this. Like that. And then tiny hair, hairy hair looking almost very thin feather all around here, like we're putting right now. The picture that I have has a chest kind of sticking out here a little bit, and then for the feet, our feathers here, the leg comes out like this, and it finishes before the end of the wing. Let's arrange the wing to the head. According to the position of the head, the wing comes kind of like this. It's almost straight. This part goes like this. I'm just putting this, I'm going to paint this with white. Wing is a little bit longer, and the tail goes a little bit longer. tip of the feathers, the flight feathers, is darker. We're going to put some details on the feather part here, on the, sorry, we're going to put some details on the wing here, wing feathers. Let's locate them first, and then we can just trying to figure out the, yes, it's like this. And other feet will come from here. The branch passes from here, like this. I'm just putting the line for the branch, so I know there's a branch here. The branch continues. There are a couple of buds, okay, like that. And there's another bud right here. I'm going to make this part is totally white. Okay, let's work on the details now. The head is, this part is a little bit thicker. I'm making the head a little bit bigger, fatter, fat head. There isn't a big curve here, there's just a tiny curve there. The beak needs to be a little bit smaller. Let me put the limit to the beak. After it dries, I'm going to paint over it blue. The head is a little bit forward. Let's do the head a little bit, kind of. And there are feathers here. Since we're changing the head. Now it is better. I think the eye will come a little bit forward. There are some black, there's a black patch here. That's the black patch. I'm going to move the eye a little bit forward. This bird has a big round eye. Let's do the tuft part a little bit bigger. I'm getting rid of these discrepancies right here. There's a nice white patch right around the eye here. And some feathers fall, some white feathers here fall on the wing. Let's make the eye and the beak darker with black. It has got black eye and black beak. Of course, we're going to make a shine on top. You know, the light is hitting from the top, so it's gonna be a little bit shiny. And eyes are pretty round and black. And then we're going to put a light on the... This is gray. I'm painting now the details with gray. This part is narrower. The white patch on top of the eye is narrower than the bottom. Let's make it like feathers. Maybe some shades. Light is hitting from the top, so there are some shades here. The front is darker. These parts are a little bit lighter because of the light, because of the way the light is hitting. I'm making short little strokes to make the tiny feathers around there. I'm going to put some whites here because this part is totally white. The only color we will put down here will be for the light, where the light is hitting. Here's my filbert here because I wanted it a little bit smoother. But now to do the edges I'm going to use the smaller brush. I'm taking the white and drawing the line. The little shade of gray underneath that's showing is good because it's darker down here at the bottom of the body. There are little feathers here at the end of the thigh. Just going to put there are some little feathers here. Okay, now there's a tiny coloration right underneath this part of the wing. This is kind of brownish, orangish brown, very, very little color. Let's see how this goes. I'm using raw sienna. I'm using raw sienna for this. I'm going to draw a line right underneath here and then spread it from here slowly. We might want to paint over with white, of course, to blend in this small color here. Just putting the color, and then I'm going to smoothen the edges. And there is very little, very shade of this here. I will lighten it up a little bit, but it's kind of just a little bit of color there. Just a little. So let's use, I'm still using my liner. I'm going to grab some white to, first of all, make this part a little bit lighter. It's not, this color is not so visible here. It is there, but very little. And soften this up, blend it slowly. I'm just mixing it with white. Like that. Let's make just these, some parts a little bit, very edges right underneath the wing, darker. And here I lost the color. I'm going to put some there. Painted too much white here. Okay. Can't be too much, can't be too little. It just has to be the right amount of coloration. Oops. Okay, I think this is good. Let me fix the mess here. Okay. I like this part. It is good. We're going to leave it at that. Maybe a little bit more raw sienna just to the edges to make the edges darker. And it will not be a line, of course, like this. It will be blending in the rest. I'm just blending it. Yes, this is it. Let's make some lights here. There are shadows down here. It's not pure white. I'm just making strokes to make it look like feathers. There's a little bit gray down here, a shadow of the gray. Very light gray, very light. That's too dark. It's too dark. Very light gray here. Like that. Okay, let me mix this with white. Let's make it smoother. We have some shadows here for the feathers that are sticking out, just like some feathers here. I'm just putting light and dark, you know, kind of like where the light is hitting and not hitting. I'm painting, I'm going between white and gray. I try to arrange. If it is too much, I put a little bit of white. If it is too white, I put a little bit of gray, just to make it just right. So if your paint disappears, go ahead and put some more. The first stroke is not the correct one. I mean, it doesn't have to be the correct one. You can always go back and forth until it looks right. So there are some darker. This is not the feather, it is the shade. It's the less light. And I'm going to blend this gray in. I need some white here. Don't want it to be too visible, it's just a little shadow here. We're following the picture, the photograph, like that. No visible strokes here. I'm just trying to blend in all these brush strokes with white, make them less visible, and they look more delicate like that. Okay, now let's work on the wing, the details of the wing. As far as I see in the picture, there is a lighter part here. This part is a little bit lighter. And then you can see the flight feathers edges. Thin, thin white lines. They have to be very, very thin. I'm drawing the direction of the feathers. I'm going to make them thinner as possible later, work on them. These lines are supposed to be very, very thin. I'm going to start working on making these again, moving between white and, okay. So we're going to work on the wing. These are going to be, see this part here? We're trying to do that now. The thinner the better. I'm not going to count the number, how many lines there are. It looks like numerous. Okay, let's begin. With white. We're gonna move between white and black to make it look like thin, thin lines. On this side, here, this part, there are shorter feathers, so we're not going that part, that's why. They kind of do this. There's that light patch. Get some darker now. It has to be very, very thin. If there are just a few thin, very thin lines, it will give the impression of many, many thin feathers. The important thing here is the direction of the feathers, because you're showing where the wing is going. I think this is good, but I will make these edges a little bit darker because the tip of these feathers are darker gray. We're not going to make a bulk. There's a little bit kind of darkness here. A little bit of a big feather here. Smaller feathers. I don't like the way this looks. Let's correct this. Maybe a couple of dark lines here will make it look better. Just a couple of dark lines. You don't want to see a blob of paint here, just very thin lines. If you by mistake make a thick line, you can always make it thinner with white. With a little bit of white at the bottom. We will do the tail, we will paint the tail just like we painted the wing. You know, if you want to make your lines thinner, you can always play back and forth to get rid of the very thick lines. Okay, let's go back to the tail. Let's go back to the tail. I'm not going to mess with the tail too much. It looks nice, the shape and the position. I'm just going to add a little bit darker, a couple of lines there, dark gray, Payne's gray. Okay, there is a dark shadow here, one feather. I'm going to make this, use white a little bit to make these bottom feathers lighter line. The top part, there's a thin dark line on top. We're going to do the, let's put the shine on the beak and the eye, and then we're going to do the white. If it is too much, you can always see where the shine is. This is too much, I'm going to change it in a minute. Okay, I'm going to make the eye. I'm using black now because I put too much white here. I'm going to, okay, I just touched a couple of parts of the white. If you want to put a really bright dot there, just don't put it in the middle. Okay, like that. Just like that. Let me show you up close the shine on the beak and the eye. I don't know if you can see it. Alright, you can put some lights here, a little bit of white, shadows, you know, kind of like the light is hitting. Here it's not that dark. Okay. Okay, now we're going to do the, let's put the branch first because we're going to paint the feet on top of the branch. It's not going to be very detailed, but the feet will be, so let's do the rough one first. And the branch is, in the picture it is, okay, we're going to mix gray and brown. I'm using a small angular brush. See, this is what I'm doing. I'm putting it to one side and pulling it down. Putting it one side and pulling it down. Kind of moving it kind of like round, in round like this. So I don't have to worry about branches. You can draw your branch and then do that later. I'm going to correct this with the, I'm going to use some brown. You can use burnt umber or any brown. Branch up and down. I'm not painting, I'm trying not to paint the middle because I want that round effect to stay. One thing you want to make sure, if you're separating a branch, you have to put the lights to the right place so your branch looks like it's coming out of this one. Since the light is coming from the top for the bird, it should be the same for the branch. So I'm putting the lighter parts to the top. I'm going to leave the bottom parts a little bit darker. Its leg is gray again. We're going to, okay, the leg is coming, it's like here, it's coming, and then here is the feet, and this is coming from the other side. And this back toe here. Okay, and with this one, back toe is here. Some burnt umber to the branch. Since this part is under the bird, it shouldn't be so light, you know, it should be darker than the rest, because the bird's shadow is falling on this part. Okay, I'm going to put some shades of green here. Well, I think this is it. We have completed an introduction to acrylic painting program. And with this, we have completed a set of 4 songbirds on 6x6 hard canvas. The last one is Tufted Titmous. The others were Cedar Waxwing, Carolina Wren, and Black-capped Goldfinch. I hope you enjoyed painting the Tufted Titmous. Thank you for joining me, and see you next time.